morning, Marianne Elliott from 360 Mortgage Solutions. So today I wanted to jump on and have a chat to you about credit cards. One of the most common responses I get from clients when I'm asking about their current liabilities is around the credit card. More specifically, what people would say to me is, I might have a $10,000 limit, but I'm really only using between $500 to $1,000 each month of that limit, and then it gets paid off in full. What people don't realize is the bank will take the full limit of your credit card and pretend that that is what the outstanding balance is. The reality is that once the loan has settled, you could potentially rack up that credit card debt up to the full limit and therefore be having to make the maximum repayments on it. So the bank is purely looking at how much can you potentially owe in the worst case scenario, and they're accounting for that. So when you're looking to get a loan, whether it's your first loan or a subsequent loan, it's a really good idea to have a look and take stock on your credit cards. Have a look at what your total limit is and have a look at what you're needing. One conversation I love having with clients is around how you should be using your credit card, because if your credit card is staying at a certain balance, whether it's at the limit or not, and not being paid off in full, then it is costing you money to have that credit card, and it's putting you further and further behind, potentially without you even realizing. The way a credit card should be used, now this isn't exactly the way the bank intends you to use it because it means they're not getting as much money, but the way you should be using it is to make sure that the limit does not exceed what you can afford to repay within 1 month. And the reason I say that is you can put charges on your credit card, which depending on the credit card might give you up to 55 days interest free, but you need to make sure that you can pay that entire outstanding balance on the due date each month so that you're not getting charged interest on it. A lot of clients I talk to will stress and worry about what their interest rate is on their home loan and not even know what interest rate it is they're paying on their credit card. And typically it is much, much higher than what you're paying on your home loan. So making sure that your limit is set to what you know you can comfortably repay means that if you do in a month's time get up to that maximum limit, you know you can still pay it back when it's due and not have paid any interest. So you're really maximizing the interest-free period and making sure that you're not paying interest on the back end. There are also options you can consider if you have a credit card debt that you are not paying out. If you are just making the minimum repayments, you'll typically find it will take about 40 years for you to get that debt repaid. But what I find with most clients is they'll pay a large chunk of money off their credit card and then slowly add expenses back onto the credit card, taking it back up to the limit. And then the next month they'll start all over again, dump a lot of cash on there and then build it back up to the limit. If this is you and you're just feeling like you're not getting anywhere with your credit card debt, there are some things you can do to make sure that you're not A, going to continue using it and put yourself further and further behind, but B, to make sure that you can get it repaid within a shorter term, not 40 years, but something more like 7 years by consolidating it. So if you're sitting there thinking, I may not be using my credit card to the full potential and you want to talk about options to consolidate it, then make sure you book an appointment with me. I'll pop a link below and I can talk you through your option. The other option to consider is if you're not using it properly and repaying it in full each month, then consider lowering it to what your monthly living expense would be each month so that you are only putting your expenses on there and you are paying it back in full each month. Other than that, guys, that's it from me. As the living expenses continue to increase and interest rates are going up, I think it's really important for you to consider other aspects of your finances where you could be remodeling things and changing things to save as much money as possible. So if you want any other hints or tips, make sure you book a free Zoom appointment with me. I'll pop the link below and we can chat about it more. That's it from me, guys. Have a fantastic day and I'll catch you next week.